Hi, I'm Julie, still reading from Grimm's Fairy Tales. Today's selection is Mother Holle. You are going to hear the word Cinderella. This is not the politically correct version of Cinderella that we know. This is from the original Grimm's Fairy Tales. I hope you enjoy it. It is unique. Let's get started. Mother Holle. Once upon a time, there was a widow who had two daughters. One of them was beautiful and industrious, the other quite ugly and lazy. The mother, however, loved the ugly and lazy one best because she was her own daughter. So the other, who was only her stepdaughter, was made to do all of the work of the house. She was quite the Cinderella of the family. Her stepmother sent her out every day to sit by the well at the high road and spin until her fingers would just bleed. Now it chanced one day that some blood fell upon the spindle, and as the girl stepped over to the well to wash it off, the spindle suddenly sprang out of her hand and fell into the well. She ran home crying to tell of her misfortune, but her stepmother spoke harshly to her, and after giving her a violent scolding, said unkindly to her, "As you have let the spindle fall into the well, you yourself will go and fetch it out." The girl went back to the well, not knowing what to do, and at last, in her distress, she jumped into the water after the spindle. She remembered nothing more until she awoke and found herself in a beautiful meadow full of sunshine with countless flowers blooming in every direction. She walked over through the meadow and presently came upon a baker's oven full of bread. And the loaves cried out to her, "Take us out! Take us out! Or alas, we shall be burned to a cinder. We were baked quite long ago." So she took the bread shovel and she drew them all out. She went on further. She came upon a tree full of apples. shake me, I pray," cried the tree. "My apples, one and all, are ripe." So she shook that tree, and the apples came falling down upon her like rain. She continued shaking until there was not a single apple left upon it. Then she carefully gathered up all the apples in a heap and walked on again. The next thing she came upon was a little house, and she saw an old woman looking out with such large teeth that she was terrified, and she turned to run away. But the old woman called after her, "What are you afraid of, dear child? Stay with me. If you work at my house properly, I will make you very happy. You must be very careful, however, to make my bed the right way. You must always shake it out thoroughly so that the feathers fly about. They say down here in this world that it is like snow, for I am Mother Holle." The old woman spoke so kindly that the girl summoned up the courage, and she agreed to enter into service with the old woman. She took care to do everything according to the old woman's bidding, and every time she made the bed, she took care to do it with all her might so that the feathers flew about like so many snowflakes. The old woman was good to her word. She never spoke angrily to her. She gave her roast and boiled meats every day. So she stayed on with Mother Holle for some time, and then she began to grow unhappy. She couldn't at first tell why she felt sad, but she became conscious at last of a great longing to go home. Then she knew she was homesick. although she was 1,000 times better off with Mother Holle than with her mother and her sister. After waiting a while, she went to Mother Holle and said, "I am so homesick. I cannot stay with you any longer, for although I am so happy here, I must return to my own people." Then Mother Holle said, "I am pleased that you should want to go back to your own people. And as you have served me so well and so faithfully, I will take you home myself." Thereupon she led the girl by the hand to a broad gateway. The gate was opened, and as the girl passed through, a shower of gold fell upon her, and the gold clung to her, so that she was covered from head to foot. "That is a reward for your industry," said Mother Holle. And as she spoke, she handed her the spindle that she had dropped into the well so long ago. The gate was then closed, and the girl found herself back in the old world, close to her mother's house. As she entered the courtyard, there was a rooster perched upon the well. It called out, "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Your golden daughters come back to you." Then she went to her mother and to her sister, and as she was so richly covered with gold, they gave her a warm welcome. She related to them all that had happened, and when the mother heard how she had come by her great riches, the mother thought she should like her ugly, lazy daughter to go and try for a fortune for herself. So she made that sister go and sit by the well and spin. And she made that sister prick her finger and thrust her hand into a thorn bush so that a drop of blood might go onto the spindle. And then she threw it into the well, and she made her jump in herself. Like her sister, she awoke in that beautiful meadow, and she walked until she came to that oven. "Take us out! Take us out! Or, alas, we will be burned to a cinder. We were baked so long ago," cried the loaves as before. But the lazy girl answered, "Do you think I'm going to dirty my hands for you?" and walked on. Presently she came to the apple tree. shake me, I pray. My apples one and all are ripe," it cried. But she only answered, "A nice thing to ask me to do. One of the apples might fall on my head." And she passed on. At last she came to Mother Holle's house, and as she had heard all about those large teeth from her other sister, she wasn't afraid of them, and she engaged herself without delay with the old woman. The first day she was obedient and industrious, and exerted herself to please Mother Holle, for she thought of all of that gold that she might get in return. The next day, however, she began to dawdle over the work, and the third day she was more idle even still. She began to lie in bed in the mornings and refused to get up. Worse still, she neglected to make the old woman's bed properly, and forgot to shake it so that those feathers would fly about. So Mother Holle soon got very tired of her and told her that she would have to go. The lazy girl was delighted with this, and she thought to herself, "The gold will soon be mine." Mother Holle led her, as she led her sister, through the broad gateway. But as she was passing through, instead of the shower of gold, a great bucketful of pitch came pouring down upon her. "That is in return for your services," said the old woman, and shut the gate. So the lazy girl had to go home covered with pitch. And the rooster on the well called after her as he saw her. "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Your dirty daughter has come back to you." But try what she would, she could not get the pitch off, and it stuck to her as long as she lived. It says Cinderella, and there is a stepdaughter, and a beautiful daughter, and a stepmother. Grimm's fairy tales. Go figure. Have a good day. We'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.